Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in Jew. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hello and welcome back to Big Mouth, and you can keep this or any other conversation I ignite going over on my Twitter at Movies TV Man, my Vero at Big Mouth 1, and the extension to this channel is my Instagram, Big Mouth. So hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of the dceu Daily. It's getting so close to Christmas. I've just been to the shops. They're singing Christmas songs. It's just fantastic. Anyway, you don't want to hear about my excitement for Christmas. We want to talk about the DCEU, and Zack Snyder has responded to a very simple situation, an interesting situation. People, the fandom are making it up as it goes along. We've gone from fighting, we kind of had Zack months ago hinting about the 214-minute Snyder Cut. People were still saying it's not 214, it's not finished, it's going to cost 50 million. So anyway, a few people have been talking about the fight being not about the Snyder Cut, not about the 214, because that's not his finished vision. So Zack posted an interesting legend. He quoted a legend on his Vero, right? Now, I don't have that text here, but I do have him explaining what he meant. So this is what he said. According to the legend, Sir Percival was one of King Arthur's knights. On his quest for the Holy Grail, he was tempted by a devil in disguise of a beautiful woman. In order to keep him from attaining the Holy Grail, she tried to get him drunk and seduced, but he saw a cross. As he looked on his sword hilt, he crossed himself and the woman vanished. So basically, he blatantly posted the 214, right? He posted that, right? So, but he's not going into it. He's not blatantly explaining himself, but basically he's talking about this legend. And the whole point about this legend is that it doesn't really matter what the legend's about. He's trying to tell you that there's people disguised as devils trying. Look, I don't think he's trying to, put shade on people talking about we should be fighting for Zack Snyder to reshoot and rewrite the whole of his version of Justice League. I don't think he's throwing shade on them. What he's trying to say is, don't waste your time. Please don't scare Warner Brothers. We started getting so much attention for my existing cut of the Justice League movie. We're so close to getting this, and you're kind of confusing the narrative. Now, because we've become popular, we've become mainstream, and everyone's been talking about us since November the 17th of this year, everyone's getting a bit too excited. So, and Chris Wong-Svensson from Ping Pong Flicks, a guy and a channel I have a lot of respect for, and I name drop a lot, on this channel did this whole video. Literally what I've just said. He said that the fight isn't 214, it's to get Zack's original vision. Now, I was very saddened to read his tweet when he said he's taking down that video so he can focus the fight for 214. Chris, if you haven't taken it down yet, my personal opinion is don't take it down. Obviously, people have been getting at him over this. Chris is not a disrespectful guy. He's so easygoing. As you can see, he's saying he wants to take it down because he knows he's offended people. He thinks he's offended Zack Snyder. He hasn't offended Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's just a bit concerned because he doesn't want to scare Warner Brothers, because our movement is kind of powerful now. So if we start trying to fight for a whole reshoot, right, Warner Brothers are never going to spend that money, as I explained a couple of videos ago, right? So I think Zack's concerned to get the fandom and the movement back on track for hashtagging release the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut is the 214-minute ready movie to see the goodness, the Justice League goodness, right? There's no way he can reshoot the film. That's never going to happen. But listen, Chris isn't wrong. Chris wasn't wrong for doing the video. Listen, I understand what Chris meant. And in a perfect world, in an ideal world, when we weren't dealing with bureaucrats and studios and money and company, yes. But as I said in said video as well, I said that, every director doesn't get their final vision. Nowhere near. But Zack has got a close thing to his vision in a vault in a real tin, ready for us all to see. And that's what we need to fight for. Now, if we all go out and see this film, or we all, subscribe to HBO Max, then there's a great chance for Justice League 2 and Justice League 3, where Zack can actually start from scratch and make his own 2 sequels, right? Because he's going to have the fans on his side and other filmmakers on his side. That's what we've got to fight for. So if we fight for the 214 and we keep on hashtagging release the Snyder Cut, then that leads to whatever, what was Zack saying about going down the hole, or going down the rabbit hole? The rabbit hole is getting to see the Snyder Cut, the 214-minute Snyder Cut, the nearly 4-hour Snyder Cut, and making that successful so he can carry on making DCEU movies, so he can carry on his Justice League 2 and Justice League 3. That's what he wants. That's what I explained. And I kind of understood what Zack wanted, because this has been a long fight for us to be able to see his cut, not so he can go and reshoot the whole of the first film. And again, Chris wasn't wrong for doing this. And I understand that some people are upset with Chris, but I think it's very important that we allow people to say what they want to say. Chris isn't on YouTube to make a profit, to get subscribers. You don't see him saying, follow, subscribe, do this, make me money. He's not like the others. Chris is doing this because he loves film. He's a geek. He's a nerd, like all of us. He genuinely is fighting for the Snyder Cut. He's not doing it for popularity. He's become popular and successful by accident, right? Otherwise, every single of his videos would be live, and it's not. He does a pre-recorded, ping pong flicks like every other day or every day. He does a live one on a Saturday night, which is awesome as well. So Chris isn't here for the money, right? Chris is here because he's a geek, he's a nerd, he loves DC, he loves what Zack did with BVS and MOS, like I do, like you do, right? So I don't think we should be getting at the guy. And I felt sad when I read that, because maybe I've been negative, not towards Chris, but towards people saying that the whole thing should be redone so we can get Zack's complete vision. And I don't think that's wrong. We've got to allow people to kind of flex their creative muscles on YouTube and say what they want to say. Chris wasn't insulting anyone. Chris is right. Ultimately, Chris is right. What Warner Brothers did and got him to water it down was wrong. But I think there was a meeting in the middle with this complete version, and I think it's going to be pretty close to what Zack wanted. Now, obviously, when you've got people chopping each other's heads off and things like that, maybe we should think about that and say, well, maybe that was a bit too far. And, even Zack admits that maybe the crazy idea was a little bit crazy, because everyone was lacking confidence because of the response to BVS. So I hope that Chris doesn't put that video down, because I think Chris was right. But we're being realistic here, because we're in a fight. We've got a Snyder Cut Justice League ready to watch, full of goodness. Let's not get away from that, right? And Zack, through people watching this film, and if the mainstream come in as well, imagine that. Then he can do his Justice League 2, Justice League 3, and then that's where we get his original vision for this whole 5-arc chapter, which is more important than getting a full vision on just one Justice League movie, right? He's going to get that opportunity if everybody goes to see this film on whatever format it's going to be on. So I would say, don't get at people for having ideas like that, because I think it's a great idea, and I hope that Chris doesn't take that video, because I love Chris's videos and I think he's a genuine fan. So he deserves a bit better from us, rather than making him feel he should take it down. Maybe he's self-conscious. He knows that Zack Snyder watches his videos because he told him at SnyderCon, right? So he says he watches them over breakfast now and again. So, that's a great buzz. Imagine if I found out Zack Snyder was watching my videos, which he doesn't. He doesn't, by the way. And if you do, Zack, I love you, man. Your fight and everything you've been through, top respect. I mean, brilliant. But we've all got to stop these divisions. It's ridiculous. This is not what Zack wants. This is not what anyone wants. And we are not helping the cause. Forget about the 40 million thing. Get over it. Get over your hate for certain fans who have become successful, right? Forget that. Forget the divisions. We've all got to band together in this final furlong of seeing the Snyder Cut, finally getting it released. We are fighting to get the Snyder Cut released, and that's it. Our egos, our personalities have to be put to one side. I believe we're nearly there. We could see 214 of the Snyder Cut very soon. in the new year. But we've got to stop these other divisions. We've got to stop trying to gag people and their ideas and their creativity, because this is what they did to Zack Snyder at Warner Brothers. Do we want to be like that? I don't think we do. So I'm very excited that Zack, put his point of view across on Vero. He has that platform. He has that avenue. He has told us in no uncertain terms, forget everything else you're saying and fighting for. This is about 214. This is about my version of Justice League. It's ready. Let's keep on pushing and let's keep on fighting and let's forget everything else. So what do you think about this? What do you think of Zack Snyder putting his kind of footprint on the 214, the Snyder Cut that we've all been fighting for? Were you surprised that he was so blatant? I think he was worried with the direction this narrative was going, and I think he had to say something. And I think now we are already focused and we all understand what's going on. So please like, share, subscribe, comment down below, share the channel as well, and I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, if everything's all right, with more DCEU Daily. See you then.